My parents died young. I was raised by my father's comrades in the countryside, with the support of David's parents. I married my childhood sweetheart, David, the people I grew up with. But I never knew he was in love with someone else. After marriage, he refused to touch me. But he made me take the responsibility for infertility. My parents-in-law resented me and they had no sympathy for me. They brought 2 children from distant relatives. For me, David, indifferent. I joined the army and I barely come back once a year. 18 years later, I raised children to be successful young adults. They were admitted to Tsinghua University. David went home with another woman. Attend a graduation party. And in front of everyone, he declared the 2 children his. With his lover. Biological children. I looked at their happy family of 6. Celebrate together. Realizing I was the only one left in the dark. I walked away in despair and anger, but accidentally fell off the cliff in the dark. When I opened my eyes again, I went back to my first year of marriage. Chapter 1. David's mother sitting in the hall, while his father was smoking his pipe beside her. Small, the ancestral hall was filled with scattered relatives. Make a narrow space feel smaller. In addition to David's parents and David himself, man holding 2 children. Everyone else is watching me in the corner. Their eyes. I stood at the door, silently. David's mother cleared her throat and said, "Lily, you came at the right time. Your third aunt just gave birth to twins. She already has 3 children. So when she heard about your difficulty getting pregnant, she decided to send them here. Ask if you would like to raise them." I raised my eyes and scanned the room. In the crowd, Sandra looked at David tenderly. Her eyes are full of love, as she looked at the children in his arms. So even then, Sandra has appeared in my life. Everyone is waiting for my answer. David's mother, on the other hand, looks easy. It seemed like she was sure I wouldn't say no. After all, in the past year, she would ask about my uterus every time we ate, morning and evening, until my face turned pale with shame and guilt. I turned to David and asked, "Do you want to keep them?" David seemed surprised that I asked him a question. He frowned slightly. "It's a woman's thing. This has nothing to do with us men. If you want to keep them, I won't stop you." "Very good. Then I won't keep them. But since you decided to take them in, you have to do it with all your heart so as not to wait." "What did you say?" David was stunned and looked at me in disbelief. The room quieted down. Even the whispers disappeared. I calmly repeated, "I'm only 19, I could still get pregnant. Why should I raise someone else's child?" David's face darkened with dissatisfaction. "How can you be so unreasonable? Your aunt meant well. I never thought you were so short-sighted." I retorted, "Didn't you just say you wouldn't interfere? Since I rejected you, why are you so excited?" David didn't know what to say. His eyes were wide open. It's like he can't believe it. I dared to confront him. My mother-in-law stepped in to solve the problem. "Lily, don't say such things in anger. I know you like these kids. If you take them in, I'll help you raise them." My father-in-law exhaled a puff of smoke and added, "Since you decided to take them in, we will hold a ceremony tomorrow. And officially registered. In your name and David's. In family records." I'm speechless. In my previous life, my mother-in-law's so-called help, just looking at me, treat the twins coldly. As for laundry, pay their fees, and tutor them in their studies. These responsibilities fall entirely on me. They only care about enjoying the fruits of my labor. When did they ever think about me? Now I watch them make the decision for me. It seems like I have no say. I raised my voice slightly and said, "If you register them under my name, I won't keep them. I want a divorce." After saying this, I ignored their shocked expressions, turned and walked towards the village mailbox. Chapter 2. I retrieved the letter written to me. When I tore it open, my eyes turned red with excitement. There is a 100 yuan bill inside, and a bunch of food and cloth ration coupons. Extremely precious resource. In the 1980s when supplies were scarce, The sender is Professor Oliver, my parents' college tutor. He always treated me as his granddaughter. Unfortunately, in my previous life, I only found his silent support. After I spent 18 years raising David's children and let them enter Tsinghua University, then I realized that all these years, his letters and financial aid, secretly taken away by David's parents, in the mailbox. I also found my admission letter from Tsinghua University. In my previous life, hidden by my aunt's house, they tried their best to break my wings, trapped me in their home, make sure I have no choice, but work hard for them like a servant. At the entrance of the village, I greeted the owner, grocery store aunt, tell her I need to make a call to an old friend of my parents. She watched me grow up in my aunt's house and understand the bitterness, growing up under someone else's roof, out of good intentions. She refused to take my money, let me use the phone for free. As it happens, she has to go out to deliver goods, so she asked me to help look after the store. Thank you for her generosity. I silently promised to repay her one day. Then I dialed the number in Beijing. The phone rang 3 times before someone answered. An old and firm voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, who are you? I choked up and replied, Grandpa Oliver. It's me, Lily. Lily, my little girl. You finally remembered this old man. Grandpa was very happy to hear my news. When he learned that I admitted to Tsinghua University again, he became more excited. Your parents' souls in heaven must be proud of you. I told Grandpa Oliver about my current situation and told him I was going to Beijing within 3 days, preparing for college. After listening to my struggle, his mood turned gloomy. He regrets not being able to protect me. When I learned my decision, he is very supportive and insisted that I be with him first. After hanging up the phone, I breathed a sigh of relief. I carefully hid the letter and the acceptance letter in a place only I know. Only 3 days left. I will eventually rewrite my destiny. Chapter 3. When I got home, most of the relatives have left. Only my in-laws, David and Sandra, stayed behind, each holding a child. I walked in quietly without making any sound. I heard Sandra's worried voice. David, what if Lily refuses to raise them? David replied in a cold but firm voice. Whether she wants to or not, she has to do it. I'm going to join the army in a month. You are going to college. So what happens to the children? His mother also agreed. Don't worry, Sandra. Just focus on your studies. Mothers should be educated like you. Lily grew up in our home. She dared not disobey us. His father, play the role of the head of the household and make the final decision. That's settled. This family is not hers to decide. I didn't feel anything, any emotion I've ever had. The previous life has been worn out through endless toil and fatigue. I walked into. The 4 of them were startled. Their eyes scanned my face carefully, measure how much I heard. I looked at Sandra, maybe feeling guilty. She turned her head away, avoiding my gaze. David walked up to her, blocking my view and then speaking seriously. This is my cousin Sandra. She was admitted to the teacher's college, so she'll be living with us next month. I nodded and said nothing. I pretended I didn't hear what my mother-in-law said. Sighed softly. Behind me. After dinner, I went straight to my room and started packing my bags. I separated all the things related to David, stacked them away from my stuff. There aren't many things that really belong to me. Just one winter jacket and some light summer clothes, compared to the wool coat Sandra is wearing. My clothes aren't even worth the price. Half a meter of fabric. If I remember correctly, her coat was made from fabric rations. Grandpa Oliver sent me a coupon. Although Grandpa Oliver sends me a large sum of money every month, most of them were taken by my mother-in-law. Only left me with leftovers. They raised me for so many years. So, I will consider this money as compensation for them. So-called kindness. But as for Grandpa Oliver, I will find a way to pay him back in full. Once, David walked into my room without even knocking. He threw a woolen scarf on my bed. His tone is arrogant, like lending a hand to a beggar. I've ignored you since we got married. I brought this back from the city for you. I stared at the scarf. It has the same pattern as Sandra's wool coat, most likely made from leftover scraps. So he even went to great lengths to collect leftover fabric. Bring it back to me, like some grand gesture. See me keep silent. David thought I was deeply moved by the scarf. Seize the moment, he added. I'm going to join the army in a month. You need to take better care of your children. After a pause, my parents worked hard to raise us. You should be more considerate and help with housework. Do the washing up. Do the laundry. Don't act like a spoiled wife who doesn't bother, just like you did tonight. I almost laughed out loud. You have 1 month left before you leave. For the military. How could this happen? I didn't see you helping your parents with housework. David's lips were pressed into a line. After a long silence, he finally whispered, Of course, I'll try to help. Then his eyes fell on a notebook and the braided bracelet he gave me long ago. Now it's sitting alone in the corner of my desk, discarded like garbage. His face darkened. Why do you dig them out? I answered casually, just to sort it out. It's time to throw away the things that need to be thrown away. David's brows furrowed. A strange feeling of irritation welled up in him. He walked forward, getting ready to search through my packed luggage. Before I could stop him, a sweet sound came from the bathroom. David, the water is getting cold. David immediately turned and left, and quickly boil water for Sandra. He never came back that night. Chapter 4. Sleeping until noon the next day. But my mother-in-law was too distracted to scold me. She paced up and down the hall. She muttered anxiously. How could it not exist? Where did it go? Didn't he post it this time? I watched her with interest, fully aware of what's happening. Mom, what are you looking for? When she looked at me, there was hesitation in her eyes. But she was sure I couldn't know nothing about this. The children are hungry. Go prepare the milk, I said with a smile. David should do this. After all, he will be joining the army in a month. He will never see them again. Before she could stop me, I rushed out the door. I know she went to the mailbox today, but I didn't find the money and the ration coupons Grandpa Oliver sent me. She must be panicking now. In my previous life, the money was used secretly, suitable for all items in the home. Except me. David used the money, getting a good job by paying bribes. In the army, with his scheming and ability to please, he has been promoted. 18 years later, he even became a minister. Sandra's college tuition and fees, almost entirely funded by my letters. They shamelessly enjoy the benefits I bring and act like they deserve it. Do they really think the world works that way? I came to the Village Youth Association, David's gathering place. Sandra and her friends. Before I walked in, I heard one of David's childhood friends joke that, David, you dote on Sandra too much. So much. Can you really bear to let her leave for college? Sandra snuggled in David's arms. Her voice is shy and sweet. What nonsense are you talking about? I only see David as my brother, my friend said with a smile. Brother, more like a lover. Everyone burst into laughter. Make the room full of lively atmosphere. David smiled and hugged Sandra tightly. When you go to Beijing, don't forget to think about me and the kids. Sandra raised her head shyly. Kissing him on the cheek, I replied. Then the topic turned to me. David's expression calmed down. I heard him say that Lily is very hardworking. She's better off staying at home. Take care of my parents and children. Talking about talent and education. She's not as good as Sandra. It felt like a hammer hit my heart, even though I've realized the truth. Hearing such cruel words still fills me with anger and resentment. I feel it's unfair. The 20 years I wasted in my previous life, for the education I gave up, for my sacrificed self. That moment, A young woman enters the building, noticed I was standing outside. She was surprised and grabbed my hand and pulled me in. Sister-in-law, what are you doing here? Come in. The lively atmosphere inside suddenly became quiet. Everyone turned to look at me. Their expressions were stiff and uneasy. David and Sandra stood up immediately. Keep a certain distance. Sandra looked at me shyly. Sister, you came quietly. David's eyes were filled with anger. Why don't you stay home to look after the children? What are you doing here? I glanced at the lipstick marks on David's face and laughed mockingly. Sandra quickly grabbed a napkin, trying to cover up, wiped David's face in a too obvious way. Sister, this is my fault. David and I were just kidding. David hesitated, but then he regained his composure. He stood up straight and spoke confidently. Why do you need to explain? Sandra and I grew up together like siblings. Nothing to hide. Maybe they're worried I'll expose them. His tone became irritated. Lily, don't be so paranoid all the time. Do you know why I don't want to go home? Because of your attitude. If you could be as gentle as Sandra. David, I interrupted him. Only then did he realize he was wrong. He shut up in embarrassment. I spoke in a calm tone, completely ignoring the embarrassment on his face. The 2 children you insisted on adopting yesterday. Hungry. Your mother asks you to go home and feed them. David's face was gloomy, but he couldn't refute me. After all, I have refused to adopt the child. So the responsibility falls on him. With no other choice, he followed me home. Sandra bit her lip and followed. Chapter 5. At the dining table. My father-in-law. Tell me casually. Children's names. Added to ancestry records. I nodded and said nothing. My mother-in-law looked at me, then subtly signaled to David. Autumn is here. Lily's clothes are old. David, take Lily to town in 2 days to buy some new. David looked at me for a moment. Then nod your head to show your agreement. Sandra, who was sitting next to him, pouted in dissatisfaction. Sandra should come too. It's on the way anyway, she said. My mother-in-law looked at me again. I just nodded without any reaction. The whole family seemed a little surprised. After all, just a few days ago, I totally humiliated them. Refused to adopt a child. But in my mind, I was already planning. Going to the city means I can buy a ticket to leave. I don't even need an excuse. Great, David, I can finally leave you. I've waited 2 lifetimes for this day. 2 days later. Before dawn, David gently pulled Sandra out of bed. Help her wash patiently. Before you knock on my door. But before he opened it, I had already opened it. David stopped in obvious surprise when he saw me, dressed and ready. Why do you carry such a big bag? I adjusted the straps of my bag. Keep a neutral expression. I packed some food. Sandra jumped out from behind him, wrinkled nose in disgust. Elder sister, we're going to the cities, not the fields. Why do you bring dry food? Do you think there is no food in the city? Hearing this, he sneered. Okay, bring it if you want it. Don't give up halfway and let me help you carry it. Their words didn't affect my mood at all. I calmly comforted them. Don't worry, I won't. The only means of transportation to the city. It's the village chief's livestock truck, often used to transport pigs. In this era, owning a car is already a huge privilege. David carefully helped Sandra into the truck. Thoughtfully, place a layer of newspaper on the seat, so her clothes won't get dirty. Meanwhile, I climbed up alone. Struggle a little, but eventually I'll find a corner to sit down. An aunt from the neighboring village. See how close David and Sandra are. Can't help but tease. Oh my God, you two must be newlyweds. So affectionate, more considerate than my dad. When we first got married. Sandra froze in embarrassment, and David froze. Obviously don't know how to respond. The village chief spoke first. Desire for clarification. Sister, you are wrong. That's his real wife. Auntie blinked in confusion. Then he looked at me in the corner. Her eyes were filled with undisguised confusion. But she didn't say much. Just whispering, Hasn't the old dynasty collapsed? How could he openly favor his concubine? He ignored his wife, even though she whispered. Narrow truck, meaning everyone can hear her clearly. Sandra's face turned red. She walked away from David awkwardly. David felt completely humiliated. When no one was paying attention, he glared at me fiercely. But I ignored the childish drama. My attention is focused on the bag in my hand. Because my future is inside me. Chapter 6. After getting off the bus, the crowd dispersed. David's expression became more impatient. His tone was cold and contemptuous. This is yours. Buy yourself some clothes. Come back at 3 p.m. Then he threw the crumpled $5 bill to me. Before turning away, put your arms around Sandra. They left without a second glance. Before disappearing, Sandra turned and looked at me with pity. I bent down. Pick up the money and put it in your pocket. Although I know his mother gave him 50 yuan. In his heart, I am only worth this much. But it doesn't matter anymore. I have written to Grandpa Oliver. Tell him not to send me any more money. Everything he gave me in the past. I will use it to buy my complete freedom. I turned and headed towards the train station. When I got on the train to Beijing, the tears I had held back for decades finally flowed down. Trapped in the village for so many years, I never thought I could have another life. Sent to David's home at the age of 5. He's the one I spend the most time with. I inevitably fell in love with him. But to him, I'm just his sister. A servant, a tool, never his wife. Maybe I have persisted in this love for more than 10 years. Just a stubborn obsession. If my parents could see my past life, I know I wasted my time serving a man's family. They'll definitely be angry. But none of that matters now. Because God gave me another chance. Maybe this is what my parents wanted. Don't want to see me suffer anymore. This time I want to live for myself. I hope my future will be brighter than ever. Chapter 7. Arrival in Beijing. The first thing I did was go to Congress Hospital. I handed over some hair to the testing department. After, I found Grandpa Oliver's house according to the address. There are already many. I haven't been to Beijing for many years. Standing in front of the magnificent villa, I felt an unexpected tension and uneasiness. The young maid at the entrance spotted me. She had a surprised smile on her face. Do you miss Lily? The master told me you would arrive. In Beijing, these days pass quickly. He is playing chess now. I nodded. Stamped his feet at the door. Make sure all the dirt on your shoes falls off before entering the house. What surprised me was, Grandpa Oliver's house is much quieter. More empty than I thought. In the spacious living room, 2 old men sitting face to face, playing chess. As soon as Grandpa Oliver saw me, he slammed the chess piece down on the board. Disrupt the entire game. He immediately picked up his crutches and walked towards me. Behind him, another old man protested loudly. Oliver, you shameless old man, you cheated again. Tears glistened in Grandpa Oliver's eyes. He looked me over from head to toe. My dear, you have suffered so much. Those simple words miraculously washed away decades of pain and grievances.